We're
What
testing. I mean, we're not
is that?
testing. We're recording.
We're recording now, Cassie. It's not
I
testing
just
anymore.
I just did my test record real quick while I was on with Kelly. Which, by the way, everybody, my test record that I do Kelly, I do this every week by myself. Usually is
Yep.
testing, testing, and Kelly got to win.
I
Got
got
to
to
witness.
witness it this week.
Anyway, that's why I said we're testing because I'm just go on without me. It's fine.
Cue music.
Okay. Welcome back to Oddities. I'm Cassie.
I'm Kelly.
And welcome back to Strange Town. I'm having one of those.
Cassie's broken.
It wasn't even that funny, but I'm having one of those moments, like, when, like,
Yep.
you just can't stop laughing. My face hurts.
This
Anyway,
happened just a moment ago during the bonus episodes.
I know. Anyway, all of our shit's in the description. Follow us on social media for fun. And we have a Patreon. Please donate to our show. You can either do a dollar amount that you want to specify, or we have 3 tiers, and each tier comes with its own special benefits. Also merch. Also a website, odditiesstaystrange.com, where you can find all of these things linked in one place.
Yep.
Did I miss anything?
Follow us. Just follow us.
Please, God.
Please
Yes.
save Cassie from corporate America. The end.
That correct. Okay. We did it, and I think I'm fine.
Yeah. How are you, bestie?
I'm grand. I am thriving. No, I'm good. Last night was date night. We had a lot of fun. Corey and I went go-karting, and this was my first time doing this, and those things fucking fly.
Fly.
And I had a couple of near spin-outs, but it was fun. And shout out to Autobahn. It was like a little arena, and it was very fun and indoors. I was happy it was indoors because it got down to the 40s last night, and moving along in those little zippy guys at 40 degrees would have been chilly.
Very.
My parents, by the way, told me the freakiest fucking story. I told them we were going go-karting. And they were like, "Oh, well, if it's outside, make sure you don't wear a scarf." And I was like, "Okay, like I'm not really planning on wearing anything dangly." And they're like, "Well, the reason we say that is because we had a classmate growing up, and his brother was go-karting, and he wore a scarf, and I guess the scarf got stuck in like the motor, and he strangled." The way my parents were so cavalier about this shit, they also had like a couple kids like commit suicide. And they also were like alive during like
And
the
mom and
serial
dad
killer
were just
era.
numb for that, right?
Yeah.
So my dad has taken me go-karting
Right.
several times, right? And I have some extremely long hair.
And bad luck, I might add.
Yeah, so this has been my life, right? Because I've always had long hair.
Right.
Dad, whenever we go-karting, screams at me. My hair has to go like, I have to have big bun energy because he once saw a girl get scalped.
Dude, well, so they make you wear it was like a head
now.
sock and then a helmet. So like we were definitely, but that shit's, listen, the way our parents are so
just,
by the way, this happened. It's like,
yeah.
What? What? Are you like, okay? Anyway, I didn't get strangled. Neither did Corey. Side note, we had a great time. And then we got Indian food after, and it was a great night.
It was good Indian food too, wasn't it?
It was excellent Indian food, and it was a very successful date night. And I'm up for planning it next. So I'm in December. Obviously, I'm going to do something holiday themed. What I'm doing, I don't know yet, but we're going to get there. Don't worry about it.
I can send you some ideas.
Yeah, we have to do some plotting, right?
I can help you plot.
Yeah, something like jingly jangly,
Ooh.
Big Santy energy. So
ideas.
Excellent. How be you be, bestie?
I'm good. I'm sore from the Disney adventure, but otherwise good. If you want to know more about that, join our Patreon where I shared some exclusive stuff. But I will share this.
Exclusive.
I'm such a bitch.
No, I love it.
I will share this. During our Disney day, we were at Disney for well over... we were gone from the house for well over 14 hours.
Yeah, well, you had some traffic situation.
Yeah. But we had one of my husband's coworkers stop by the house to let our dogs out. 14 hours and all that stuff. Cassie, when I tell you I nearly transported myself through my phone.
Oh.
To murder this man.
Are the babies okay?
They're fine.
Okay.
Because at least I have some intelligent dogs.
Excellent. I don't, so...
Cassie, if somebody told you, hey, could you come to my house and let out my dogs? What would you do?
Go to your house and let out the dogs?
How would you let out the dogs? How would you let out the dogs?
Well, I'd ask if you have any special ways that you want them let out.
Okay,
But I would let them out and I would watch them and I would stay with them and then I'd bring them back in.
This dude...
Make sure they do their business. Play a little.
This dude unlocks our front door.
What?
Opens the front door. And he had to go in through our front door in order to, get to the dogs, right? But we were anticipating him to go to the backyard to let them out.
Yes.
We're fenced.
Yes.
But he opens the front door.
And he just lets them out through the front?
Just lets them out, leaves our front door open, and just sits down on the porch. We have cats.
What guys. In God's name?
And I, at this point, was in my delirium state at Disney.
Oh my God.
I looked at Michael and I said, you need to handle this.
You need to handle this now.
Because I was not. So, Michael then yelled at him through the ring, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You need to let them out in the backyard. What are you doing? And mind you, actually, Anastasia just sat at the door barking at him like you're an idiot. And Rufio was just running circles around him.
Okay. Well, I'm glad they didn't take off because ours would have just pew, they would have booked it.
Well, and I think Rufio actually had trauma from our front yard, knowing not to go any further because Rufio has been attacked in our front yard.
Yeah.
So,
it would never even occur to me to let the dogs out in the front. We used to have to do that in our old house because we didn't have a backyard. It was just woods, dense woods. But and literally, if you asked me to let your dogs out, I would have gone into your house, walked through, and escorted the dogs out to the back. You have a backyard that's fenced in. Why would you not do that? Fucking brilliant.
He also said, sorry, it's been a while since I've dogged.
Really? Has it also been a while since you've used, I don't know, common sense? What a moron.
And I was like, first off, I hyperfixated on this for the rest of the night. Mm-hmm. Michael's like, you're not going to let this one go, are you? And I was like, nope, this is my Roman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, this is my Roman Empire. And I said, he's going to get roasted.
He should. My Roman Empire, separate note, is when Viggo Mortensen opens the doors and he's all wet in Lord of the Rings.
God, I love you.
Unrelated, but in case anybody was wondering.
It's going to end up on the Instagram this week.
Yeah, it has to.
It has to. It's going to end up on the stories. Cassie's Roman Empire, everyone.
Now you guys know. But honestly, fuck that guy.
But I was like, oh, gosh.
So here's who we're not going to use to let the dogs out anymore.
Yeah. And then we were just driving home, and I randomly go, we better have 4 fucking animals when we get home. And Michael just lost it.
Listen, I don't know if you guys can do a Disney day again. You guys were destroyed by the end of it. It crushed your soul and ruined you.
Michael just he lost it. He goes, "Are you good?" No. But like overall, Disney was wonderful, and
And you
I'm
guys got
thrilled.
the boys met Pooh, the most
Yeah,
important.
the characters that the boys met immediately walking into Disney. Dale,
Nice.
the tiny one, terrified of Dale.
Well, okay.
So, but that's fine.
That's okay.
They met Mirabelle from Encanto.
Oh, cool. Oh, they've got Encanto walking around now? That's cool.
And the tiny one was absolutely smitten with her.
Oh, crushing.
He was just looking up at her, and
his sexual awakening. And Mirabelle.
She goes, "Oh, your eyes are like my Tio Bruno's," and he's like,
"Oh my god!"
just blinking at her. It was adorable.
But we don't talk about Bruno.
I know. And then it was funny because we were actually in line to meet Tigger, and then Tigger had to leave, and then like it was very like the boys were like, "Aw," and then Pooh showed up, and they're like, "Aw."
Nice. So, Tigger probably had to go take a shit.
Tigger was probably getting hot in that costume. It was 80 degrees on Thursday.
Damn.
Yeah.
What are we doing? It's November. Stop it, California.
That's what I was saying. So.
Although, to be fair, Monday for us was like 75. And it's like, what? I'm on the East Coast in the dead of fall. What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing. So,
I'm glad they got to meet Pooh.
Yeah. It was a good day. So, and they saw Mickey and Minnie dancing in front of the castle. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
They saw
I'm not into
Princess
Mickey
Jasmine running like to her meet and greet.
Booking it.
Yeah.
They saw Princess Jasmine trying not to get fired.
Yep, essentially.
Oh, man. Listen, that's great. It sounds like it was a great day. I'm thrilled. I was hoping it was going to go well for you guys. I mean, aside from rude people, we can't control the fact that humanity blows. We know this.
No, not at all. So.
Wow. That's awesome. I'm happy. I'm happy the boys liked it too. I mean, do you guys, they're going to want to go back, yes? Like they had.
Yeah, and actually at the start of this year, between January to the end of March or mid-March, kids' tickets are $50.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to attempt to at least go one more time when they're that cheap.
So,
we'll see.
The last time they were that cheap was probably like 1940.
When we were kids.
Yeah. I have to let out the Pooh cat. She's stuck in here. Hold on.
Pooh cat, Pooh cat. She's the queen of the pastoral McCurry household.
That's right. The Pooh cat.
I forgot you could hear me.
I like the anthem.
Here I am just singing, not realizing you can hear.
Not just singing, fucking slaying it. That's what you were doing. So, all right. Anyway, here we are at our lucky number 13 minutes, crushing it. If we can function, shall we go ahead and get started?
Yes.
Okay. Mine is heavy, but triumphant. How's yours?
I don't know where mine falls. Because mine
on
sucks.
The scale of where?
Yeah. Because, like, mine's cool, but it sucks. But, like, later she gets justice in a weird way.
I kicked the shit out of my desk at my fucking knee. That really hurt. Ouch, Charlie. All right. Do you want
to go first if it's heavy?
I could go first. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, God.
You good? Guys, this is a shit show. Sorry.
My knee is screaming. So I'm covering Mary Vincent today. She is quite the figure. She's incredible. This is from Cousin Caitlin. Thank you, Cousin Caitlin. Mary Vincent. Amazeballs. Anyway, she's one of 7 children. She grew up living with her parents in Las Vegas. Her father was a mechanic, married her mother, who was a blackjack dealer, while he was serving in the military. However, as Mary grows up, her parents, they go through a messy divorce. This causes her, Mary, to run away from their home in Vegas. So 1978. Here we are. What a time to be alive. 15-year-old Mary Vincent. She is going through this period of rebellion, obviously, and so she runs away to California with her boyfriend. Not long into their adventure, he gets in trouble with the law, and they part ways. She's like, bye, this has been fun. In the aftermath of the breakup, instead of going back home because she's like, I'm not interested, Mary decides to hitchhike nearly 400 miles to her grandfather's house in Corona. So she's hitchhiked in the past. Like, this isn't her first rodeo. Okay. This was the 70s, so people were just, like, doing this shit, you know? Leaving their front doors unlocked, hitchhiking. What the hell? My mom picked up a hitchhiker. Like, okay?
Michael did once, and... Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway. So she has no reason, basically, to believe that this time's going to be any different, right? She's like, okay. So after... in the city of, Modesto, she joins a pair of fellow hitchhikers. They've positioned themselves near this kind of busy area. They're holding signs showing that they're heading for Southern California, and they wait patiently for some kind of a good Samaritan, basically, to stop and give them a lift. So after a little bit, a blue van, driven by a middle-aged man, pulls up beside them. He looks the trio over, and he motions for Mary to get in, saying he can take her as far as Los Angeles, which is basically 45 minutes from her destination. So she's like, oh, like, I don't know, what would people say in the 70s that they'd be, like, right on? Okay, sure. So some combination of those. After looking into the vehicle, seeing that there's plenty of room, basically, for all three of them, because it's a van, the others take Mary aside, and they're like, this seems sketchy. Don't do this. Maybe let's hold out for another ride, yes? And she's like, okay, but I'm very hot. I'm very tired. I've just been through a breakup. I really just want to get to my grandpa's house. I'm going. So it's said that this guy, his name is Lawrence Singleton. She gets in with him. Apparently he hit on her during the van ride. He didn't stop at Interstate 5, which is where I guess she needed to head to. She points it out and demands that he turns back. And he's like, oh, it was an honest mistake. And he turns the van around. After a few more miles, Singleton pulls the van to the side of the road, saying he needs to go to the bathroom. Vincent gets out too to get some fresh air. While she is bent tying her shoe, Singleton hits her over the head with a hammer.
Oh my gosh.
He ties her hands and shoves her in the back of the van. Disclaimer, trigger warning, he rapes her repeatedly over the course of the night. The next morning, he cuts off both of her hands, like up to a certain point on her arm, with a hatchet. Apparently, in an attempt maybe to make it more difficult to identify her body, and he throws her into this 30-foot ditch, and he leaves her there to die.
Oh my gosh.
She, this is wild, manages to survive all of that and the fall, and climbs back up the cliff despite having lost her hands. She then dips the stumps of her forearms into mud and holds them up to slow the bleeding, and then goes to flag down drivers for help after trudging along Interstate 5 naked for nearly 3 miles.
Oh my gosh.
It's said that one driver pulled over, saw the state of her, and drove off. Fucking rude.
Yep.
Then she's able to get the attention of a couple, and they help her, and she gets medical attention. A court document describes this quite well. It says, quote, the next morning, 2 individuals found Mary Vincent wandering nude. She was holding up her arms so that the muscles and blood would not fall out. This woman is incredible. Incredible. So she is in the hospital, and she basically tells the hospital staff, blow it out your ass. I'm not going to rest right now. I need to help the police identify and find my attacker. And so she insists on postponing any rest or sleep to help them finish creating a composite sketch for investigators. Her description of Singleton was so clear and detailed that when the police sketch went live, his neighbor immediately recognized him and reported him to the police.
That's amazing.
Love it.
Holy shit.
Tragically, The laws at the time were so lenient that the maximum penalty that Singleton could receive was 14 years in prison, which
Oh
was
my
the
gosh.
punishment basically after he was found, in fact, guilty of kidnapping, attempted murder, and rape, and a series of other serious crimes. She, of course, testifies in his trial, like I said, leading to his ultimate conviction for the above.
Yeah.
She wins a civil judgment against her attacker and was awarded $2.56 million, but did not receive the payment because he was unemployed and unable to pay.
Of course.
Fucking annoying. The state should have done it. That's
Yeah.
my opinion, but whatever. Also, according to Vincent, when she walked by Singleton in the courtroom, he told her that he promised to, quote, finish her off if it's the last thing he does, quote, when he was released from prison.
Oh.
Fucking garbage bag of a man. Then, he is freed from prison in 1987 after serving 8 years of his 14-year sentence, despite massive public protests against his release. So, he's let go basically for good behavior. Makes me sick.
Ew.
Really gross. And multiple psychiatrists at the San Quentin prison where he was held had reported that he was, quote, a paranoid personality, severe, quote, schizoid, and capable of, quote, angry and destructive outbursts on those weaker than he. Sure enough, in 1997, like 19 years after he tries to kill Mary Vincent, he attacks again, this time a woman named Roxanne Hayes. She was a 31-year-old mother of 3. She was also a sex worker, and he had been living in Tampa, Florida, and stabbed her to death in his own home.
Oh my gosh.
As would be expected, of course, there was like this national outcry about this in response to the second attack, being like, hey, you fuckfaces, we knew this would happen.
Yeah.
You know, as a result, the Singleton Bill was drafted in California, which prevents the early release of offenders who commit crimes that involve any kind of torture. Vincent testified again in this second trial and supported that California bill. And at this point, the minimum sentence for a crime involving torture is 25 years. Singleton was sentenced to death, but he died in prison of cancer in 2001. Let's talk about Vincent's life post all of this. So she began using prosthetic arms within 2 weeks after the attack.
Oh, wow.
And they were, in fact, prosthetic arms that she fashioned herself because she could not afford through prosthetics. I know. So she's lived, obviously, a very difficult life, absolutely filled with trauma and PTSD because of this man who attacked her and this just brutal, brutal circumstances.
Yeah.
She has gone on to have 2 sons. And like I said, she became very proficient at tinkering with spare parts from broken down refrigerators, old stereos, a whole host of things. And she created her own prosthetics because high-end prosthetics are incredibly expensive. And as of 2009, she's become known as a prolific artist. And she creates powerful images of women as female action figures. And she has said in multiple interviews, though, over the years that she just wants to be left alone, like to live her life. Like she just wants peace from this at this point.
Very understanding.
She is an advocate. So after her, after the Singleton was released from prison the first time and then attacks a murdered woman, she volunteers, like I said, to testify against him in the second trial. And she spoke during that very notably and very openly about finding healing by becoming a victim's advocate in support of victims' rights and delivers motivational speeches from time to time. Her one other just fun fact, among her customized, like self-created prosthetics, she made a custom prosthetic for bowling.
Wow.
And that's Mary Vincent. It is such a nauseating, disgusting,
very nauseating, but she is a phenomenal woman.
She's amazing. Yeah, she's incredible. I hurt for her that her life has been forever tainted by this. I mean, how are you ever going to function normally after that? With all the help in the world, I can't even imagine that you could. But she's incredible. She's like, this guy tries to kill her. She's like, fuck you, climbs up a cliff with no hands, goes 3 miles down the highway to find somebody to help her. Like, what? And she was 15 when it happened. I wouldn't have been smart enough at 15 to do any of that shit.
She went full survival mode.
She did. She was like, I mean, it's just crazy. So anyway, she's incredible. I happen to agree. She should just be left alone.
Yeah.
Like, live out her life quietly and peacefully if she'd like. I like that she has to me, it sounds like she's kind of turned to art as like a form of healing, which I think is
Yeah.
very cool and very beneficial. And I'm a big advocate for that. But anyway, that's Mary Vincent. She's just
Phenomenal.
chef's kiss. So thank you, cousin Caitlin. This was a very interesting, sad but interesting one to research, for sure. And that's what I've got.
Well, thank you. That was amazing. Again, thank you, cousin Caitlin, too, for sharing the topic. But thank you for covering it. I mean, and yeah, as nauseating as it was very triumphant.
It was to a degree, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
I do have to agree with you. I do love that she's turned to art. Like, that's such a beautiful spin on things.
It is. I hate that man.
Yeah. I hate
our law system, like our legal system.
That's what I was about to say. Because there's no reason he should have been released early. And personally, there's no reason he should have been released at all.
No.
The act he committed on her was horrific and should have said enough of he should not be in society, period.
I mean, tell me, how are you going to let a man who kidnaps and rapes a 15-year-old and then cuts off her hands and drops her in a ditch to leave her for dead, just because he acted fine in prison, you're going to let him go?
And then on top of that, him telling her, "I'm going to finish you."
Yes. Like,
that's a very credible threat, given what he had already done to her.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing?
And to this day, it's still failing.
It's so fucked up. Yeah.
So, my heart breaks for that mother of 3.
Mm-hmm.
For her children. She deserved better.
Mm-hmm.
And the legal system failed her. Specifically. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well.
On that happy note.
On that note, I'm talking about a saint today. A saint that I've always been kind of fascinated with.
Love her.
I do love her. She's very interesting.
She is.
I do think it's interesting how she became a saint. We're going to get to that.
Yeah.
Talking about Joan of Arc.
Our Lady Joan of Arc. She's a wild one.
She's a wild one. She's pretty amazing in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, Joan of Arc. Patron saint of France.
Jeanne d'Arc. Some might say.
A defender of the French nation for her role in the siege of Orleans.
Orleans.
And her insistence in the coronation of Charles VII of France during the 100 Years' War, which, by the way, she was born during.
Wow.
Which I didn't realize until this research.
That puts it into a kind of a weird perspective.
It really does. Well, she was a teenager during all this, too.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but, like, it is a very
But, like, when you think about it, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Anywho. Claiming to be acting under a divine guidance, she became a military leader who people say defied gender roles.
Listen, she kicked ass.
She did kick ass. And she gained recognition as the savior of France.
Like you do.
Like you do. She was born to a peasant family.
Same.
In northeast France in 1428. She requested to be taken in her teen years. She requested to be taken to Charles, later testifying that she was guided by visions from the archangel Michael.
Me too.
And Saint Catherine to help him save France from the English domination. So,
sure.
Which. Okay.
I mean, my question with all this, of course, I mean, I love her, but like, why would Michael give a shit?
I agree with you on that. 100%.
Right? Like, I think there's probably bigger fish to fry, but okay, that's fine. Carry on.
She was 17 at this time. And she was a part of the relief army. She was arrived at the city in April of 1929 or 1429. Sorry, my eyes did something weird there, guys.
That's
Wielding
okay.
her banner and bringing hope to hope to the demoralized French army. 9 days after her arrival, the English abandoned the siege,
Oh, they're like, that's
bringing
enough.
victory. She was enough.
Yeah,
They're like,
she's like,
we're not messing with her.
she showed up. We're
Yeah.
done. Stick a fork in us.
But later, at another battle, it was the
Okay.
battle with the I want to say Burgundy, but it's not Burgundy. But my brain wants to say Burgundy.
Okay.
It was she participated in an unsuccessful siege of Paris in September of 1429, the
Oh,
failed siege of La Charte in November, defeating the court's faith in her. In early 1430, Joan organized a company of volunteers to relieve the company, and she was then taken captive by the French allies of the English, by the Burgundian troops on 23 May. After trying to escape unsuccessfully, she was handed to the English in November. She was then put on trial by Bishop Perry Cunchen and on accusations of hearsay and dressing like a man.
well, that was the
That
time where if you wanted to
yeah.
get some shit done, you kind of had to, yeah?
Yeah, and acting upon visions that were demonic.
Oh, here we go. She's a witch.
And yeah, refusing to submit her words on deeds to the judgment of the church. She was declared guilty and burned on the stake on 30 May 1431.
So she was
At
what,
the
18 or
age
19?
19.
Oh my God, poor baby.
Yeah. This is where I thought was interesting. In 1456, the court reinvestigated her trial.
Oh, a little late, but okay.
Yeah. And overturned the verdict.
Oops.
They declared that it was tainted and it said that there were so many errors in her trial.
I mean, I'm glad that they did this and like cleared her name or whatever and
Yeah.
like the trial, but also like, come on, guys. Like, come on now.
Yeah. Joan has been revered as a martyr and viewed as an obedient daughter of the Roman Catholic Church, an early feminist, a symbol of freedom and independence.
There she
After
is.
the French Revolution, she became a national symbol of France. In 1920, Joan of Arc was listed as a Roman Catholic Church saint.
I mean,
She is portrayed in numerous culture works, including literature, music, painting, sculptures, and theater. Because she is a badass.
Joan of Arc is a badass.
Yes.
Massive freaking lady balls. We love it. We don't love the church. We don't love that they fucked up the trial. We don't love that she was burned at the stake. And now all of a sudden they're like, wait, she's great and we love her.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. It was about 20, a little over 20 years post her trial. What I couldn't find is why did they reopen the case?
Yeah, what triggered that?
What triggered it? Why was it reinvestigated?
Yeah.
That's what was confusing to me. I just didn't understand why it was reinvestigated or who decided to reinvestigate it.
Yeah.
At that time, why would they?
Yeah, right, exactly.
You know what I mean? But yeah, very much so. Look at the times. Okay, she's dressing like a man and she's having visions. Okay, clearly she's a witch. We're burning her at the stake.
Yeah, it's annoying to me. And then later on it's like, oh, well, we'll just like cover up that we fucked up and let's clear her trial. And then much later the church is like, oh, let's cover all that and let's make her a saint. Like it's like, you guys,
so we're gonna make
suck.
it better now. Yeah.
Yeah, you suck. But here we are.
She is the patron saint of France, soldiers, prisoners, and those in need of courage, those ridiculed for their faith and youth.
You know what? I love that.
Yeah. she is an amazing saint, and I kind of feel like I identify with her a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
She deserves the sainthood, but like
100%, she very much earned the sainthood. I just wish she wasn't burned at the stake. I'm not gonna lie.
At fucking 19, after doing so much.
And see, that's what bothers me too. She was burned at the stake because of vision. I don't think it had anything to do with being dressed as a man.
I mean,
it had everything to do with her visions. And that's what bothers me, because in the beginning they're like, oh, we love your visions, it's helping us.
Yeah, right.
But the second she had one mishap at a battle,
right,
burn her at the stake. That's what it really was.
Well, she's a woman.
Yeah.
Period. The end. So, you know, we've gotten it shoved up our ass throughout history, as we know.
Yep.
She is such a cool figure, though. I adore Joan of Arc.
Yeah, and in her youth, she was always a very obedient daughter to her parents. She always helped her father with, like, household chores and in the field and with their animals. Like, she was known to be a very helpful person.
Yeah.
In all aspects of her life.
Yeah.
So, like, giving and wonderful. At least that's all of the historical research that I found.
Yeah.
She was taught her religious education by her mother.
Okay.
And I thought that was kind of sweet. She was homeschooled.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They all lived on the countryside, although coming from a very poor life. That was heavily noted as well. Mm-hmm. I guess that was not, like, a well-known thing. Or a dumb thing. If you lived in poverty, you weren't living on the countryside, I guess. But she said throughout her life she always had visions of St. Michael. So that's interesting, in my opinion. Because why? Why St. Michael?
Yeah. Well, I have thoughts.
You have thoughts? Go ahead.
I think it would be easy for us to say that she probably, like, she may very well not have actually had, like, these could have been associated with some sort of mental disorder, yes?
Yes.
You know, like, I think that's very likely. I still think she's great. I think she's awesome. But do I believe that she actually had visions from St. Michael? No. Because I'm not a religious person. And I think that more than likely it was some sort of a mental, like, condition. And that's fine.
Still badass.
Still a badass. Still a total boss. Still didn't get the end that she deserved. And, you know, the sainthood a gazillion years later doesn't make up for it. What was done to her, in my opinion.
No.
Joan of Arc, I covered her. I shared this with you before recording. I covered her in a report in the 6th grade. And she was, like, probably one of the first instances in my life where I was like, this is a badass woman. Like, she is cool. I want to be courageous like her. You know, like, that type of thing. Like, she was one of the first historical figures that I was introduced to that was a female that I was like, yes, this is very, very cool. You know.
I remember a TV show in the early 2000s that was, like, Joan of Arc based.
Yes.
Do you remember
Joan of Arcadia?
Oh, yeah! Okay, that was a little on the nose.
Listen, that was a great show. I love that show. Amber Tamblyn was in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that show. I don't really remember what it was about. I mean, she had visions, and I think she was supposed to go around, like, helping people. Like, she didn't have, like, mighty visions, like, hey, I have to be the savior of, like, what, you know, but...
I specifically remember her seeing a bush burning.
Love that. Love that. So, that was a good show, though, from what I remember. I liked it. I've been on a kick lately with watching old shows, too.
Me too. I'm on an SVU kick right now from the beginning.
I'm working on Desperate Housewives. Do we love that? Yeah. Wow. Okay, what a trip.
Anyways, okay, that took a turn.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Joan of Arc, a badass saint who deserved better and deserves to be a saint, but it doesn't cover up what they did to her.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't fix it. And this was a very cool topic choice. Thank you for covering her. I'm thrilled you did. I love her.
She was on my list from 52 from last year, but because like
Oh.
other topics came up that I was really excited about,
She got bumped.
she got bumped. I'm sorry, Joan.
Joan's not mad about it. I guarantee it. So, well done. Good covering. Great topic. This was a good episode. We got two
I think it
strong
was.
ass women.
I think we needed strong ass women after last week.
Listen, I think so. We love it. We love them. So, that's awesome. And I mean, I don't know. I hope this fired everybody up. And until next time,
Stay strange.
woo.